Ambassador Kethrak's 4 eyes blinked in asynchronous confusion as his transport descended through the atmosphere of what the humans now called New Geneva. The irony wasn't lost on him. This was the same world his people had designated as Penal Colony Designation, Zarian 7, a hellscape deemed suitable only for the worst criminals in the galaxy. The ship shuddered as it passed through the perpetual storm systems that shrouded the planet's upper atmosphere. Lightning crackled against the hull, each bolt carrying enough energy to power a small city. Below the surface should have been a barren wasteland of razor-sharp crystalline formations and toxic gas vents that had made it the perfect prison for the galaxy's most dangerous offenders. Instead, Kethrak stared at gleaming cities. "Impossible," he whispered in his native tongue, watching massive structures rise from what should have been uninhabitable terrain. Towers of glass and metal pierced through the storm clouds, their surfaces somehow repelling the corrosive atmosphere that had killed thousands of non-human prisoners over the centuries. His aide, a nervous Velthari named Zix, consulted her datapad with trembling appendages. "Sir, the energy readings are unprecedented. The humans appear to have harnessed the planetary storm systems for power generation. Our sensors detect a grid network spanning 3 continents. The Galactic Council had sent humanity to Zarian 7 200 years ago as punishment for their aggressive expansion into contested systems. It was meant to be a death sentence disguised as exile. The planet's surface temperature fluctuated between 40 and 80 degrees Celsius within hours. The atmosphere contained 17 different toxins fatal to most known species. The ground itself was laced with radioactive crystalline deposits that made traditional agriculture impossible. No species had ever survived there for more than a few months. Yet as their transport touched down on a landing pad that hadn't existed in any Galactic Council records, Kethrak found himself face to face with thriving human civilization. President Sarah Chen greeted them at the spaceport, her smile warm, despite the hostile environment around them. She wore what appeared to be a simple atmospheric suit, far less bulky than the environmental protection gear Kethrak's delegation required. "Welcome to New Geneva, Ambassador," she said, her words, translated through the universal communicator. "I trust your journey wasn't too uncomfortable?" Kethrak struggled to maintain diplomatic composure. "President Chen, the Council is curious about your people's adaptation to this environment. Our records indicated that Zarian 7 was unsuitable for long-term habitation." Chen's laugh was musical despite the mechanical filter of her suit. "Oh, it was quite challenging at first. We lost about 30% of our population in the first decade. But humans have this stubborn tendency to refuse to die quietly." As they walked through the city's central district, Kethrak observed the impossible-made routine. Human children played in parks where the ground should have been too toxic to support life. Gardens flourished with earth plants that had somehow been modified to thrive in the alien soil. Most remarkably, the humans had learned to predict and even redirect the savage storm systems, channeling lightning strikes through massive conductor arrays that powered their entire civilization. "How?" Kethrak finally asked, abandoning diplomatic protocol. "Necessity," Chen replied simply. "When your choice is adaptation or extinction, you'd be amazed what becomes possible. We couldn't change the planet, so we changed ourselves. Genetic therapy, atmospheric processing, symbiotic relationships with the local crystal formations. My grandmother was part of the first generation to successfully integrate Zirion crystal matrices into human bone structure. Made us more resistant to radiation and temperature extremes." She gestured to a massive tower that seemed to grow directly from the planet's crystalline surface. "That's our governmental complex, built entirely from materials this planet provides, powered by storms your people considered deadly. We've turned every attempt to kill us into a tool for survival." Zix consulted her datapad again, her voice tight with disbelief. "Sir, I'm detecting over 50 million human inhabitants across this planet. Industrial output levels suggest they're manufacturing at near core world capacity." President Chen nodded. "We export atmospheric processors, storm prediction technology, and radiation-resistant materials throughout this sector now. Funny how quickly worthless prison planet becomes valuable trading partner when you change your perspective. That evening, as Kethrak stood on the observation deck of the human governmental complex, watching aurora-like displays dance across the sky as the storm systems fed power to the city below, he realized the true magnitude of what humanity had accomplished. The Galactic Council had intended to eliminate the human problem by dumping them on an uninhabitable world. Instead, they had inadvertently given humanity exactly what they needed. A challenge worthy of their species' legendary adaptability and stubborn refusal to accept defeat. Ambassador, President Chen joined him at the viewing window. I assume you'll be reporting back to the Council about our developments. Kethrak turned to face her, noting how the crystalline implants along her jawline caught the light from the aurora outside. She was no longer entirely human, yet somehow more human than ever, living proof of her species' determination to thrive against impossible odds. Indeed, he said carefully, though I suspect they may find our recommendations surprising. Chen smiled. Oh, I do hope so. We've been thinking it's time to expand our diplomatic relations, perhaps even apply for full membership in the Galactic Council. The ambassador's blood chilled at the implications. Humanity hadn't just survived their punishment, they had grown stronger, and now they wanted back in. After all, Chen continued, gazing out at the storm-lit city that had been built from nothing but human determination and alien hostility, we've learned so much about making the impossible work. We'd love to share. As lightning painted the sky in brilliant colors, Kethrak understood that the galaxy's greatest mistake hadn't been trying to destroy humanity. It had been teaching them that they could survive anything.